By chapter deep dive into Ginger Hubbard's Don't Make Me Count to 3. We're on chapter 8, Guidelines for Verbal Correction. This is going to really play into her wise words for moms chart. She gives a couple guidelines, so let's walk through them. She says, first, parents should examine their motives. Like, are they doing this because my will has been violated or God's will has been violated? Am I correcting my child because he has sinned against God or because his behavior has caused me personal discomfort, embarrassment, or trouble? I found this interesting given that Tripp essentially says when your child sins against you, he is sinning against God because of the parental role as agent of God. So Ginger has a distinction there that parents should examine for themselves. Again, we see what's going to be expected of children is expected of parents reading this book. And we saw at the end of the last chapter, like everything needs to kind of be like scrupulously examined. Here too, a parent must examine their motives first before they go to correct their child's. This is all subjective and all up to the parents. And I think even parents who operate in abusive ways are able to get to a place where they say, well, no, I think my child deserved that though, or they were asking for that spanking, or maybe I did it wrong, but they still deserved it. So it's really an unhelpful and problematic kind of scale that enables abuse. I am doing this because the child offended God. Secondly, the parents should examine their life. I appreciated this. The question is, have I provoked my child in some way? But again, it's that heavy weight of scrupulosity for the parent. What's my example? Have I led my child into sin by failing to teach him, by failing him to provide him with a means of escape, by failing to train him in what is right? There's so many ways to fail. Things aren't going correctly. It's because somebody has failed along the way. Somebody has sinned. Third, parents should choose the right time and place. You should not embarrass your child. You should choose the right words. Again, reframing, using scripture, using God's words. A little bit of magical thinking here. She says, use biblical terminology because it's the power of God's words and God's wisdom that will truly penetrate the hearts of your children. Like if you say this specific word, that's going to be what's effective. Guideline number 5, choose the right tone of voice, a normal tone of voice with carefully measured words. Guideline 6, be prepared to suggest biblical reproof. And she does talk about not to restore one who sins gently. I appreciate seeing that scripture pop up in Christian parenting resources because it's kind of rare. Everything though ends in a spanking regardless. It's not like, oh, then you wouldn't spank. It's just like these are the preliminary steps to go through before you get to the spanking, which will be the necessary thing for any misbehavior.